What's up, y'all? This is Reggie White, aka Bullet, aka Speed and Bullet, and this is Speed and Bullet podcast channel. Don't forget to like if you like these types of videos. Don't forget to comment. Let us know that you're here. Let us know city, state. Let your voice be heard. Also, don't hesitate to subscribe. By subscribing, you will get notifications whenever we go online or whenever we drop any new material. And don't forget to share if you find or see someone who may find some interest in this and find some value in the videos that we make here on this channel. So, what I want to talk about today is responsible journalism and consumer awareness. So, what does that mean? So, we're going to kind of break this thing down. I want to give a shout out to Mark Lamont Hill, who did a podcast or a YouTube video on this, and had me kind of thinking about it as a whole. And I want to kind of dive into it a little further. Um, so, responsible journalism and consumer awareness. So, there is a responsibility for anyone that puts information out to the public for it to be accurate. There should be a good faith attempt for the information that you put out to be accurate, especially considering a lot of people view these videos and a lot of people, resend these videos, retweet these videos, and things of that nature. So, I want to bring up just an interesting example that, like I said, Mark Lamont Hill brought up, and it involved the Diddy and Cassie, scandal, where Diddy was sued by Cassie, and Diddy settled extremely fast, and all of the news that went with that, which that news was covered by everyone from corporate media to small local media, to everyone in the blog sphere, had a lot to say about Diddy, and what ended up being attached to Diddy's name became a very easy way to get views and create what we call clickbait types of videos. So the whole scandal behind Diddy and everything that surrounded that event, but also the Survivors Act, which gave survivors of sexual assault the ability to sue those who had harmed them and get some type of financial compensation for that. So that went on, and it's a big story for a long time. Diddy, pretty much whatever reputation he had was ruined, and there ended up being a lot of speculation. So midway through that, there was a story about TD Jakes, and this is where, like I said, journalism and awareness, responsible journalism and awareness, and consumer awareness is absolutely important when you're talking about people's lives. So the TD Jakes thing comes out, and what is interesting about that is because it was loosely attached to Diddy, it ended up taking on a life of its own, and some of the people who originally made these videos that referenced Cassie, referenced her somehow talking to the feds and giving up some type of either tapes or information to the feds, but also that she had received a phone and some type of like hard drive, allegedly, contained a lot of, celebrity names. This hard drive was supposed to have been given to her, but before Kim Porter died. Obviously, she died unexpectedly, but or abruptly, unexpectedly. But this hard drive and this information was supposed to have been given to the feds, and there was supposed to have been, some things said or done by TD Jakes that was on this hard drive. There was supposedly some type of email, some type of person that's supposed to come forward suing him. All of these things. It became a very big story in its own. That now you had not just the Diddy thing, but also you had these allegations towards TD Jakes, and that took on another life of its own. Which was able to kind of connect two things, connect people that were interested just in the overall entertainment and gossip world, but also those who are religious. It was something that, those folks now had a, now had a topic that they could discuss, and it was discussed everywhere. Everyone, made different blogs about it, spoke about it, just general conversation just about TD Jakes and the things that were involved in his name. And it got to the point where it appeared that it was something, something that would come out, and everyone was just waiting for these, for this to come out. And one of the things that was interesting about that is that, everybody kind of like just ate it up, because it involved, Diddy, it involved Cassie, it involved Kim Porter, it involved celebrities, it involved all of these people that we feel like we have some type of like glimpse into their lives, and even some accurate information about their lives that, something, like TD Jakes or was some information about TD Jakes and some thing that he may have done didn't seem like a stretch. So, a lot of people just just ate it up, and it was just very, very interesting. So you fast forward, we're almost maybe 2 months after that story broke about TD Jakes, and well, let's just go back for a second. TD Jakes it got to the point where TD Jakes had to address this in front of his congregation. These allegations, these questions about him. So 2 months later, the story has really kind of died down. We haven't heard much about TD Jakes and any of the things that it was alleged that he had done. And I'm not professing TD Jakes' innocence or guilt. I have no idea what happened, if he did anything wrong or did anything right. I have no idea. But what I think is interesting is 2 months later, we have no information, or no information has came out to confirm any of these reports. No information has came out to to corroborate anything that was said about TD Jakes. And when you actually think about where the original source of this information came from, it was second, third, fourth hand information, all with alleged in the in the description of these things that TD Jakes was supposedly had done. The words kept saying alleged. Although these things were reported as things that were facts. So 2 months later, none of this stuff is even being discussed anymore. We haven't gotten any information about any of these things. But it speaks to a larger problem, and a larger problem is what we as people that consume media, are, what we have to do in order to filter, what we believe, what we think, what we listen to, what we see, and we have to make sure that we are vetting these sources, and that we are, that we are aware that there are things like misinformation. There are things like, clickbait, and when you talk about these videos and the ability to generate money from ads, if you are getting 50,000 views a day, millions of views, I mean, it can be lucrative financially. But as consumers, we need to really take a look at where we're getting our information from, and how we are consuming this, but also our conversations that surround these types of spaces that kind of have this type of information on it, and how much of it we should give any credibility to. We need to make sure that we are checking sources, we are fact checking things, and just not just taking what is said and on these on these channels, on these platforms, as something that is factual, even if it's said with conviction. If it's said with passion, it doesn't mean that it has any type of validity to it. But the bad thing is, us as consumers, we have to be the ones to filter these things. We have to be the ones that are aware. There's a difference between having an opinion and a difference between presenting something as facts, saying that we have a source, or even forwarding something from someone that says they had a source. Making sure that we are responsible in folks who create content, but also folks who are consuming this content. You got to make sure that you are vetting this type of stuff. And I also just think that it's interesting, because most people, when you talk to them, they'll say something to the effect of, like, they don't trust the media. They don't trust mainstream media. They don't watch the news. They don't watch Fox News. They don't watch CNN. They don't watch MSNBC. They don't watch anything. And they have a very, very skeptical eye towards corporate media. Now, I'm someone that has a skeptical eye towards corporate media also. So I understand where the premise of it comes from. But what I think is interesting is, you trade your skeptical eye towards corporate media, and you consume, just online journalism and online blogs and online gossip. You consume these things, but you don't have the same vigor and the same awareness and the same kind of attitude about these, these types of places and types of people that give out information. Some of these folks really present themselves well. It looks like official newscasts. It looks like they got the tea, they got the story. But it just appears that people are just much more they're just much more tolerant and much more acceptance of these things that are online, that are on TikTok, that are on YouTube, that are on Twitter. That people are just much more accepted. And I just think it's interesting, that they traded the skepticism of corporate media to give space to social media, which should be much more skeptical. So one of the questions that I wanted to ask is, how do you guys vet the information that you're getting? How do you vet, and how do you sift through the information that you're consuming? Do you just look for spaces that are safe to your ideas, that are safe to what you believe, and you just consume those types of stories, or that type of voice? Or you are someone that is open, to other point of views, and is willing to hear things out and make a final determination based on the things that you hear. Like, what type of information consumer are you? So that's my first question. Like I said, what type of information consumer are you? My next question is, what happened to the skepticism the skepticism of the internet? And I'm old enough to know, when the internet first started gaining steam, one of the things that was talked about all the time was, don't trust anything on the internet. Don't really, there was this built-in fear of what was going on the internet. In the internet, there was a fear, and one of the fears was, do not trust it. Do not trust what you see on the internet. Do not trust what you hear on the internet, because it can't be verified. The sources can't be verified. It's just people, are just on there, just lawless. I mean, pretty much. So that was the attitude when the internet, really became popular. When the internet was really gaining steam, it was like, all right, this is cool, but wait a minute, let's not take all of these things, as fact based. Let's look at these things and not just take it for what it's said. But it was a very strong built-in fear and skepticism about what you saw online, who you saw online, and how that interaction between you and anything online took place. But at some point, this fear of the internet became a floodgate of openness, towards the internet, to the point where most of the people's information, most of people's news, most of people's information is all coming from the internet. It's rare that somebody is picking up a book. It's rare that somebody is, going to the library. It's rare that people are reading, newspapers. It's just rare. Like, people are clicking and people are consuming. That's just another kind of segue into my next question, which is, what's your process to vet these types of to vet this type of information? Like, what is your personal process? But also, at what point, especially to the people in my generation, at what point did you become so open to the internet? At what point did you become so open to getting your information from from the internet? And how has that worked out for you? How has that shaped how you view the world, how you view each other, how you view work life, personal life? Like, how is that how is that shaped out for you, moving from a skeptical internet to more of an accepted internet? So I'm gonna leave you guys with those two questions, but just something to think about. Like, how do we vet the information that we receive, and at what point did we start to settle up the internet and it being much more accepted and not as scary as it once was. So I'll leave you guys with that. But don't forget to hit the like button if you like this type of video, you like this type of conversation. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Subscribing gives you notice or notification whenever we go online, whenever we drop new material. Don't hesitate to subscribe. Also, don't hesitate to comment. Want to see where you guys are from, how you guys feel about these topics. I always ask a question. Want you guys to chime in, let us know how you feel about these questions, and don't forget to share this channel with anybody that you think might be interested in taking part in these conversations or viewing these types of videos. So until I see you guys again, peace.